That's right.
Because
I'm thinking about it all day. I was even teaching it to somebody I had lunch with. I mean, it was very important, very beautiful.
tonight we're going to continue in Mirza Hashem. So yesterday we started that the person that causing tsar means, agony to somebody else, even if he didn't mean to. Even if he meant to do good to the person. There is a Gemara that I think once we learned it, but I want to repeat it because, as you know, the Torah is not every time we have to come with something new. Sometimes we have to discuss things that we discussed in the past and try to get to the bottom of it. There is a Gemara in Baba Batra, page Tzadik Aleph Amud Aleph, and I'm reading from inside. So you have the sources. And the Gemara says, 120 משטרות עשה בועז לבניו. Boaz, the husband of Ruth, before Ruth came to the scene, Boaz had a wife and he had kids. How many kids he had? 60. Boaz had 60 children, 30 boys and 30 girls. Bezrat Hashem soon for everybody. 30 boys and 30 girls.
For
How
one
is it
woman?
possible, Rabbi? How is it
Huh?
possible?
For
How
one
is it
woman?
possible?
Yeah. It's
For that, for
possible.
one woman?
I think so, yes.
Wow.
How is
Yeah.
that possible?
Ma?
All the women mute, Rabbi, you see?
Twins? Triplets?
6 at a time, Rav. 6 at a time.
Maybe 6 at the time, but he had 60 kids.
Wow.
And don't forget, they didn't stop at the age 40. Never know. Okay. We are not going to be like the kids when you're telling them once upon a time was a king, so the child will ask you, how old was the king? It's not important, right? If he had one wife or 2 wives, does it change anything? He has 60 kids, 30 boys, 30 girls. ובכולן לא זימן את מנוח. He had a friend, his name was Manoach. Who is Manoach? The father of Shimshon. Shimshon, as you know, was the only child for his parents. Manoach didn't have any kids, and Boaz have 60 kids. And he made for them 120 parties. 60 engagement and 60 weddings. 120 parties he made, and he did not invite Manoach to none of them. Amar, why he didn't invite him? Kudana akara b'may par ali. He is like a mule. A mule is not able to bring kids to the world. So if I will invite him, right? How can I return? He will, first of all, he'll feel bad to see I have 60 and he has none. And number two, right? How I'm going to give it back to him? All the gifts that he's going to give me, how can I give it back? And the Gemara says, "Vekulan metu bechayav." Boaz, he went to the cemetery 60 times to bury his own children. This is not my words. This is the Torah saying it. The Gemara saying it. That Boaz lost all his kids in his life. Where did he have the Korach to take all this? And why did it happen to him? He was such a tzaddik. Boaz was tzaddik. When Ruth came, he didn't have anybody. No wife, no kids, an old man. And he told her, you made chesed with me. So now, why Boaz got such a punishment? He's your friend. Don't do the cheshbonot. Don't do the calculation for him. I want to invite you because you're my friend. By not inviting him, he got very hurt. He said, why he doesn't want to invite me? Because I don't have kids. Boaz's way of thinking was good. He said, I don't want to take his eyes out. I don't want to cause him more pain that on the pain that he has already, that he doesn't have kids. So maybe I'll rather don't invite him, he don't see, and he don't, you know. But Manoach got hurt. And this costed Boaz a very dear price.
Rav, can I ask a question?
Yes.
But isn't it important to be sensitive to someone's difficulties or whatever it is? Whatever that makes them, suffer a little in life, and we should be sensitive to that.
We have to be very.
So how was Boaz wrong here?
Boaz, we thought about it a lot. We discussed it in the yeshiva. Boaz meant well. Boaz meant well. But when I thought about it, I said, I think that Boaz had to go to Manoach and be open with him. Then, you're my friend. I really want you to be there. And if you will come, I'll be the happiest man. But you have to promise me one thing. please don't get hurt if you see that I have 60 kids. You have your job in this world, I have my job in this world. To talk to him, to comfort him. But he decided to cut him off.
No, I completely understand where the Rav is coming from. I just wonder if, like, talking to someone or comforting them would take away from their pain. Like when you do have Baruch Hashem kids and someone in the family doesn't.
At least somebody is sympathizing with him.
100%. But does that mean that it takes away from their pain?
Yeah. And not only this, when a person gives tzedakah to a poor man, he gets six mitzvot. When he talks to him and he comforts him and he tells him nice things, he gets 11 mitzvot. But the ani is not able to eat your words. He is hungry. He needs money. From here, you see that sometimes the neshama is more hungry than your stomach. People need comfort. How the ani feels that he is a beggar, that he needs the whole, he needs to ask favors from everybody. Here comes a person and says, "You're doing us a favor." I'm not doing you a favor. You're doing me a favor. Because if it's not you, I cannot make the mitzvah of tzedakah. Thank you for coming. Please come again. And Hashem should give you. And this ani is going out like a hero. He's going out. He's going out not that the other person did him a favor. He made him feel that he is doing him a favor by accepting his money. Understood? So, many times we talk, and people, when they get loose a little bit, they're starting to say things which is totally unacceptable. And they don't count how many words they're saying. I'm not going to suspect you. And to listen to the tune. The tune, the way that it's been said. So I have some news for all of you. When Moshe and Aaron came in front of Pharaoh, and they demanding from him to send the Jews out of Egypt. Do you know what Pharaoh did? He said, if your God is so strong and big, why does he need my permission? Let them come and take them out. He said, who is God that I have to listen to him? Get out of here. Oh, that's what he said. And what do you think happened? If you know how to read Shirat Ayam, what happened on Yam Suf, when the Egyptian came, Hashem paid them on every action that they took, he paid them back. I don't have time now to bring all the psukim, what he said over there, and in the same word, Hashem used it over there. Whatever he was laughing over here, he got it on the sea. Same thing. So sometimes you're saying things, even though the expression on your face, Hashem will pay you back. That's how careful you have to be. Yesterday I spoke about it, and it still hurts me. Sometimes they want to take a child out of the school. Okay, I told you, I agreed to it. Sometimes, okay, there is no choice. But I didn't see yet a principal that with tears in his eyes, he said to the parents, I will help you to find a different location for your child. Be'emet, I feel bad. Sometimes they don't even answer your phones. We became a heart of a stone. And you think that Hashem is not going to pay? I don't want to be there.
Sounds familiar, Rabbi.
Very familiar.
I'm dealing with them.
Very familiar. Because he doesn't know that he's kicking out Hashem's child.
Nee, die laat Bukhari on the mesa, Rabbi. That's why. Zchut Nadara.
It doesn't make a difference where you are from. You're a Jew.
Yeah, of course.
You are Hashem's child. And Hashem, like any other Abba, will come and say, what did you do to my child? We're going to have to answer. Somebody will have to answer. People asking me, why you the only one who screams and shouts and yell and this and going there? Why? I don't want to come up there after 120 years and tell me, why didn't you at least scream? I don't want to be the one to pay the price. So whatever I see something that is not going in the right way, I'm going to be the first one. I don't care about my kavod and anything else. I will act like I don't know what. Other people, they don't want to do it. They say, I don't want to get dirty, as we say. And they have to say, I don't want to get into machloket. What machloket? What machloket? And now, the Gemara, when the Gemara says, Anoten le'ani, it's not only ani that don't have something to eat or don't have money. Every person needs appreciation. A nice word. Compliment. Encouragement. We are all aniim. This door, the generation now, is very, very poor when it comes to this. People don't know how to say a compliment and they don't appreciate what they have. Okay, and it goes on and on and on. So many people going on the street miserable because nobody smiled at them. Nobody tell them what they're worth. Every expression, every word of kavod and appreciation. Hashem will give you the rewards. And here is what the Navi is saying. The Navi Yeshaya, Avraham Yeshaya, here, that's for you. Okay? Vezarach b'choshech orecha. The world will be dark, but you're gonna be shining. V'nachacha Hashem tamid. Hashem will always make your life comfortable. Ve'ayita kegan raveh. You should be like a garden that brings fruit after fruit, never get tired. And the punching line is, Ubanu mimcha chorvot olam. Every place that is going to be, that you see distracted, you're going to be the one to build it. Why? How can you build a person? With nice words, with careness, with love, encourage him. You're going to build him up. And the brachot that a person gets that he does this, it's eternity. It's not only here. How much we have to be careful on every word. Who are we talking to? And the way that you talk. The sound. The sound is very important. The Ben Ish Chai brings a story, very interesting one. A king, he had a kingdom. One day he said, you know what? Let me take my clothes off. I'll dress like anybody else. And me and my successor, we're going to go and see what people are doing, saying, talking. Because they wanted to see what they have to fix. A smart king. After they went out in the one city, he's saying to his successor, let's go into the hospital. Let's see what's going on there. He said, what are you going to learn in the hospital? He said, let's go. He said, there is a lot to learn in the hospitals. They got into the hospital already. In the emergency room, they hear somebody screaming, shouting in pain. The king was asking, what happened over here? So the nurse told him he was beaten by a dog, a sick dog. So the king asking the person, do you know what is the medicine to such a thing? He says, yes. The Gemara says, if the dog bit you and he is sick one, okay, you take the dog, you cut the stomach and you take the liver when he's still alive. And you give it to the one, that was the medicine then. And give it to the one that was bitten by the dog, and he will be fine. So the king says, so why are you screaming and shouting? Here, you have the trufa, go find this dog and take his liver and finish. So the sick person saying, the problem is, I was so upset on the dog that he bit me. I took few stones and I killed him. Now when he is dead, I don't have any more medicine. And this how the person sat down until he died because of the dog that he killed, that he was the medicine. So when they came out of the hospital, the successor asking the king, no, did you learn something in the hospital? And the king said, oh, Rabbi, how much I learned over here. Ooh-ah. If a person don't hold himself and right away he reacting without thinking, he is most likely to lose the last medicine that he have. If the one who was bitten would hold himself and say, I'm not going to kill this dog, he will be alive today. Sometimes Hashem sends you a person to tell you something harsh and Hashem expecting you to keep quiet. That's going to be a medicine to many, many decrees that they have on you. Hashem knows that His decree that you can get sick and can get ill. Who knows what's going to happen to you? Don't lose it. Don't kill it. Don't answer back. When you answer back, finito. You lost it. The medicine that Hashem sent you, opportunity to take from you, who knows how many sicknesses you lost. You know, there is a mitzvah that calls also kilaim, like shatnez. You're not allowed to plow the ox and a donkey together. Either two oxes, either two donkeys. A combination? No. Why the Torah care? How do I plow my land? What do you care? Anyway, it's an animal. And I'm sure that you know the answer, yes? Why not?
Because one animal is going to overpower the other one and cause the other one hardship, stress the other animal.
You almost there, almost.
I knew the
Almost.
answer. I can't remember it exactly.
The donkey is going together with the ox, and the ox is chewing cud.
Right.
And the donkey thinks that the ox, they feeding him, and him, because they call him chamor, they don't want to feed him. Once a donkey, always a donkey. So the Torah said, we don't want the donkey to get hurt. Could you imagine this? I'm asking you. The Torah says you're not allowed, it's a love like eating, eating pork. Is no less than pork. You're not allowed to plow with these two animals together. Why? Because you're going to cause suffering to the donkey. He thinks they're feeding the ox, and him they don't feed. Why? Who's saying it? The Tosafot saying it. The grandchildren of Rashi. They saying it. So if the Torah cares for what? For a donkey, don't husband and wife care for each other? What, my husband or my wife is worse than a donkey? Where did we lose it? How can we get to such an extent? The Torah saying, this is tsar baalei chayim. You cannot do this to a donkey. I can do this to my wife. She can do this to me. What's going on? Not to feel the pain of a parent that the yeshiva says, take your child out of here. How can it be?
Rob, excuse me. I needed some funeral information from some rabbis that were experts. And 3 rabbis that I called hung the phone up on me. They hung the phone. They said, I gotta go. I'm too busy. Call the other rabbi. Goodbye. I was referred to them. I got the phone numbers and I just needed a few answers. I thought to myself, I thought people, when they're frum, they have more chesed, they have more, but it's not that way. So it's not just the yeshiva. It goes on in a lot of different fields.
You're going to see many, many things that is not going to sit well with you. Unfortunately, I have to say it.
Sadly, not everybody wears the cape right.
I'm telling you, I've seen things that you never saw yet. It doesn't mean if a person learns what he's going to do, he is already, you have to work on it. The environment is like that.
Rav,
We're living in the terrible, terrible environment. Nobody is sensitive to nobody else. They can put you on the newspaper, painting you in black. There is no, on the charts, they can do things not much to destroy a person. Very dangerous business. Let me tell you something. A friend of mine told me, and listen to this one. He lives in Bnei Brak. There is a bank there. There is a bank. He came into the bank. He went in, and he saw the bank is tumultic. You know, people talking to each other. Wow, wow. He said to me, the manager of the bank, he saw me, he called me into his office, said, come, I have to tell you something. He said, you know, a short while ago, a lady came here and she tell the teller, I want to take from my account 300 shekels. He said, what is your account number? He punched it on the computer. He said, what 300 shekels? You owe the bank 15,000 shekel already. To give you more? He said you way over your limit that the bank gave you to be overdraft. It's time for you to pay back. I'm not going to give you 300 shekels. So she told him, what did I ask you already? 300 shekels. I have kids. I want to buy bread for them, milk for my kids. I'm not going to buy a watch for myself now. Don't you have Rahmanut on my children? I know that I owe the money. I don't have a choice because I'm in a bad shape now, but one day I'll give it back. But now I don't have even a shekel. I need 300 shekel added to my account. The teller got upset. You know, your stories are not interesting me at all. I'm demanding that you're going to fix up the cheshbon. Fix your account, bring it back to zero, then we'll talk. We sent you already a few letters and you did not respond. Everybody was hearing the conversation. She left the line. She went into the manager office. He said to the manager, I don't understand this. What did I ask already? How can he shade my blood in front of everybody over here for 300 shekels? I need it for the grocery store. I mean, where am I going already? Why is he screaming on me in front of everybody? The manager said, you're right, I apologize. He took his wallet out. He says, come, I'll give you 300 shekels. She said, I don't want it. She lost it and she ran out of the bank. The manager chasing after her. He said, Giveret, come back. Here's 300 shekels. He takes it. Says, I don't want. He came back. And now he saw his vice. He is in tears. He said, what happened today? Today it's the pandemic of tears. She cried, you crying. what's going on? And his wife told him, I have to tell you something. I'm 50 years old, but I have a picture from my childhood that I will never forget 40 years ago. This picture chasing me and I cannot let it go. In my mind, I cannot let it go. I was 10 years old. I was a small child going with my mother to the grocery store. My mother put in a shopping bag few things, which was containing bread, milk, and cheese. And she telling to the grocer, put it in my account, please. And the grocer got upset and says, Ma pitom? How come I have to do this? You owe me so much money already. You're not paying for such a long time. I'm not gonna put everything back in place. I'm not a bank. He said my mother spoke to him in a gentle way. She told him, I'll fix it. But now I'm in a difficult situation. Look, I didn't take any luxury. I took bread and cheese and milk. That's all to feed my kids. He didn't even speak. He took the shopping bag from her hand and he put everything back. He says, you can go home. My mother took my hand and from the grocery store until the house, she was crying nonstop. He said, this situation is standing of me. I said, I cannot get rid of it. My mother was so hurt. I cannot forget this picture. He said, today that the lady came, again it came back to me. Why? She was the daughter of this grocer. Do you hear that? How Hashem pays back?
Wow.
Her father did it to Hashem said, you're going to come, not you, but your daughter will pay. Sometimes the kids have to pay because of the parents.
So what goes around, Rav, comes around?
Rab Chaim Shmulevitz, the Rosh Yeshiva of Mir, do you know what he said?
Mm.
That when Hashem punishing on matters between a person to a person, he's not hurting only himself, he is hurting his generations to come also. I want to tell you a story. I think once I told you, but I'm going to repeat it again just to see how things are very delicate. Extremely delicate. Many problems we have in our generation which we never seen before. Sicknesses that we never see before. The poverty. You don't see it here too much, but in Israel, how many Shlom Bayit problems? How many? kids going off the derech, smoking pots, going out with non-Jews. Just, you name it, we are there. What happened? What happened? What happened? So naturally, people are going to a therapist over there. We're going to evaluation over there, rehab center over there, all kinds of things that we have to do. We're going to doctors, or we're looking for advisor that we will do hocus pocus and it will make our kids straight again. And nobody knows that all these, I didn't say not to do it, but this is not the right highway. First of all, we have to see what is the spiritual problem behind all this. There is a problem. There is a problem. So listen to this. A person in Yerushalayim, his wife gave birth to a baby boy, and by the Ashkenazim, they're doing Shalom Zachar, Shalom Zochar, yo? By us, we're doing Brit Yitzchak. But the Ashkenazim is Shalom Zachar, and they're doing it Friday night. Yes? Friday night. This was the first child that they had after 20 years that they didn't have kids. He was 52 years old, and his wife was 49 years old. Hello? 49 years old. And this child came not with IVF. Natural. What happened? So he prepared himself for the Shalom Zachar. He said maybe 300 people will come, 400 max. And he prepared food accordingly. $1,300 people showed up. Imagine he prepared food for 400, and now he have 1,300. What can you, the tables were already empty. So he felt uncomfortable. So he said, instead of feeding you food, I'll feed your neshama. Let me tell you the story how my wife gave birth. Listen to this. What the story. Unbelievable. He said, first of all, I don't wish what I went through to nobody, even to my worst enemy. I don't wish it. We tried, didn't go. We checked ourselves, everything is fine. My wife is okay, I'm okay. In Israel, they weren't able to help us. We went to America. And after long years, we went from a doctor to a doctor, from doctor to a doctor. The professor came and he notified us that they don't have any answer to the problem. Everything is good. The system is working perfectly, but we don't know why you're not able to conceive. The medicine tried everything, didn't work. Imagine how we felt on the flight when we came back to Israel. It was 10 hours, like 10 years. They went to Boston, they went to Philadelphia, everywhere when there is expert, he went there, nothing helps. He said at 12 o'clock at night, we came to Israel. We took a taxi, we came home, the same way we left the house 10 years ago, the same way it was. Nothing moved. He said, me and my wife, we're starting to pray to Hashem. I'm on this corner, she is on the other one, both of us devastated. Said this was the first time that I was trying to make a calculation, audit myself, what's going on, something is wrong. He said after half an hour, pack, from Shamayim they send him an email. There is a problem over here. He said, I'm a Chusid, a Slonim Chusid. I was a Bachur. By then, if you're 23 years old, you're already you were already old man. To the yeshiva that I learned, he said, a lady used to come there 3 times a week to clean the yeshiva. He said, I don't know why. Somehow she came with her 4 kids every time. From 2 years old until 6 years old. The kids were not that gentle, say the least. No royalty, for sure not. They were hypers. Jumping up and down, boom, bam, down, boom, down. They used to run all over the yeshiva. The standards used to fall down. The books they throwing here, there, fall. You learn it, pitom, you hear a door, boom, boom. The boys, they carry it for 10 months. 10 months, it's a long time, you know? The boys in the yeshiva made me a shaliach to talk to the lady. They told me, you are important in the yeshiva. You know how to express yourself. You know how to communicate. Go talk to her and explain to her we cannot learn like this. He said, I came to the lady and I spoke to her in a very gentle way. He said it was Friday. I remember all the details. It was Friday. I came to her, I told her, Mrs. We have so much appreciation to you. You mamash shining the yeshiva, everything over here is polished. You're cleaning so good. Thank you by the name of all the Bachurim. After you leaving, it's mamash. It's enjoyment to stay in the yeshiva, to see that everything is mamash spotless. But we have one problem. After all, that's the right way, no? Compliment and compliment and compliment. Now he says, but we have one problem. Okay, what's the problem? You're coming with your kids to work. If you're coming occasionally, okay, fine. But if you're trying to save the money for the babysitter, you have to understand that we need quiet. We're learning things which are very difficult. And the noise that they make, bothering us. We're asking you very much, please, we're begging you. Please don't bring them every day that you're coming. One time, yes, one time, no, okay, but every time that you're here, please do chesed with us. The presentation was okay?
Yes.
Ah,
Yes, Rav.
Yes.
anybody home? Nobody wants to talk to me?
The presentation was great, but it costed him his children.
It was great, Rabbi.
It's just speechless. It's so sad that he
Here
didn't
we
even have
go.
that intention.
Listen to how she reacted now. She told them, I have tzar gidul banim. These 4 boys giving me troubles. And I wish you that you should not have tzar gidul banim. He didn't know what she said. He thought that she giving him a bracha. You're going to have kids, but you're not going to have any pain. When they'll grow up, they'll be like soldiers with no tzar. He said, 25 years, I was walking on the street with the feelings that she gave me a bracha. What can be a better bracha that your kids will be good, will listen to you, will respect you? Huh? No sicknesses, no ADD, no ADHD, כלום, ממש ילדים טובים, good kids. I'll see from them only נחת. He said, my mind was blocked. Now when I came back from America, I said to the people, and I see that the house is spotless the same way that we left it. I felt like I'm in the cemetery. Nobody here. When you go to the cemetery at night, whom do you see there? Nobody. When you come into your house at night, nobody there, no kids to see. They have a blanket, they don't have a blanket. Right? The pacifier is in, out. There is some life. And I started to cry and say, what's going to be over here? Hashem had mercy for me. He said, okay, 25 years is enough. And he put in my mind the story, what happened then. All of a sudden, I heard the tune that she spoke, the way that she spoke. And I got in shock. I said, how come I didn't pick it up? She didn't speak in a tune of blessing and wishes. No. She was very hurt. He said, we knew in the yeshiva that words have power. And on top of it, of a woman that don't have a husband and she have 4 kids and she has to come to clean the yeshiva in order to feed them. And he said that Friday I found out that the husband was drug addict and he ran away without a get and he wound up in America. And he left her with 4 kids, no parnasa, no klum, he didn't care. Only the executive director of the yeshiva felt bad for the lady. He said, come, I have a job for you. He said, all of a sudden I got into my brain that she cursed me. She didn't bless me. She was upset at me. How come I don't feel her pain? It's 2 o'clock in the morning now. He said, I'm looking for answers in America. I went to Brazil. I went to South Africa, where I didn't go, but the answer is right here. Hashem sent me as a message, signal, don't look where it's easier for you. Right over here you look. He said, maybe this lady have the luck and she lacked everything. Was he right? Yes. They couldn't learn. And he spoke to her very nicely and gently and everything else. What else can he do? What else can he do? Be'emet, he said, I went to ask a big Talmid Chacham. Why? I did exactly what I was taught. I did not attack her. I didn't say anything. I spoke to her in a very, very nice way with respect toward her. Why Hashem did this to me? The Gadol told him, did you hire her? No, right? So why you became the speaker? You should have gone to the executive director. Tell him, you know, we cannot go on like this. He will call her and come to terms with her. Why you decided to take matter into your hands? So he sent his hand into a fire. He said, right away, I called to the executive director 2 o'clock in the morning. And he woke up from his sleep. He says, who are you? I said my name. He said, why are you calling me that late? He said, I'll tell you later on. Do you have the number of the lady that used to clean the yeshiva 30 years ago? Is she still alive? What happened to her? So he told them, until a few years ago, she used to work. Then she left. And now she's living in a place called Bat Yam. and the pension that we collected for her, we're sending her to her apartment where she have in Bat Yam. That's where she lives. 2:00, and now it's 2:15. He ordered a cab. He had the address now. And he's going to Bat Yam 2:15 in the morning. He got there to 2:35. An old lady sleeping. He was asking his wife, should we knock, should we not knock? At the end, at 3:00 in the morning, they're deciding, we're knocking. And he's saying to the people there, don't judge me for the hours that I said. Please try to understand my situation, how bad I felt. She opened the door. And right away I saw, oh, that's the lady. That's the cleaning lady of the yeshiva. Now she looked very old. He said, I was asking Mechila that I came in such an hour. I said, don't worry, nothing happened. And she was a lady with respect to the rabbis, and he was looked like a rabbi. He said, please come in. So he told her, you remember me? I was learning in the yeshiva when you used to clean for many years. He said, no. Why not? Because now he has a long white beard. Then he was a youngster. Now he has a white beard. Okay. He said, but I remembered all her kids. I was asking him, how's your Dovale doing? She said, he lives in Ofakim. He has six kids he has. Oh, what about Shmulik? Shmulik. He living in a place called Sderot. He has 4 kids, Baruch Hashem. He said, all my kids, Baruch Hashem, has big families. Only me, I stayed over here. That's it. I'm by myself. Each one is busy with his own. And that's it. So I said, I gave her a blessing that she should see Nachat for all of them. And then he told her, you remember that he used to come to work with these 4 boys of yours? She said, yes. But she said, yes, I don't want to remember even these days. He said, do you remember that me once I came and I told you that they're making a noise and you wish me that I will not have Tsa'ar Gidul Banim, that I will not see the pain of raising kids? So I want to tell you, I don't have kids. He says, I didn't come to blame you. I came to ask for forgiveness from you. I was a fool. I didn't know what I'm saying, Bichlal. He said, the words that you told me then, I cannot have kids, my wife is okay, I'm okay. And he started to cry, his wife started to cry, and the old lady, she started to cry also. He said, I didn't know that I did this to you. So he said to her, please say in your own words that you mochelet with full heart to David ben Tzipora, 3 times saying it. I suffered enough. I know my sin. I know that I hurted you. She said, by all means, 3 times she said that I have nothing in my heart. And then she gave him a blessing. She told him, look, you know, Yaakov had a son, his name was Dan. Dan had only one son. His name was Hushim. He was deaf. He is the one to kill Esau. At the end, Dan became the biggest tribe. From one child that he has, a deaf one, Dan was zoched that from this deaf child, he got the biggest tribe of all the brothers. What a blessing, right?
Rav.
So she told them, this is my blessing to you. That Hashem will give you a child and he will multiply it like Dan ben Yaakov. Binyamin had 10 kids and his family was less than Dan. No?
Rav, why was he blessed with that?
Ah,
Why was Dan blessed to have so much? I mean, Baruch Hashem, but
Dan was Tamim because he was
deaf.
deaf. So she told them, sometimes one child can do what 10 children of the other one not able to do. So this is my blessing to you. He said, my wife and me will leave the place shaking, crying, but we knew a big stone fell out of our heart. Big stone. I felt lighter. And after 1 month, my wife conceived. And 10 months after came this child, now that we celebrating the Shalom Zachar. And I'm inviting everybody to the Pidyon because he was born naturally. Can you imagine this? 49 years old.
Wow. Wow.
He said, and I called myself religious. He's saying to everybody, he was not ashamed. When a person says, Ani ma'amin be'emunah shlema, every morning, I believe in full emunah. The Aboreit Barach Shemot, that Hashem, the Almighty, He is the Creator. He is the leader. He is the money. He does whatever He wants. והוא לבדו עשה, עושה ויעשה לכל המעשים. Hashem did everything, He's doing now everything, and He will do everything. And nobody will be able to stop Him. Including a person that his wife is not able to give birth. He said, how come I didn't go in the first place to find out maybe I did something wrong? Must be something spiritual that hold all this. So he said, hear me out, he says, learn from me. I learned it in the hard way. If Hashem put on pause the shlom bayit of yours, the children of yours, parnasa, health-wise. Start to think, maybe I hurted somebody, maybe my brother, maybe my father-in-law, maybe my mother-in-law, maybe the neighbor, maybe husband and wife, maybe we to the kids, calling them names. It's costly. What else can I say that we start to keep our mouths, to shape it up? We cannot continue like this. What? Okay, our time is up. I
Hold it up.
didn't see,
I didn't
I
want to
didn't see
interrupt.
even the clock. Oh
didn't
boy,
wanna-
I'm sorry, Bemet. I'm so
I
sorry.
didn't want to interrupt. I just wanted to ask you really quick, like, how do we get this opportunity to know where we, like, he was able to get this message from Gan Eden, you said, from Shemayim in his brain, and he remembered who he heard. Like, not everybody has the zechut to get that message in their brain. So
When you see that everything that you go doesn't help, so you have to know that,
dig deeper, right? Yeah.
yes, you dig.
Okay, Kodarov, thank you so much.
Sorry, I took your time.
It was a
We're
pleasure.
thrilled.
Thank
We
you.
enjoy it, Rav. We enjoy it.
We
Okay.
thrilled every word,
I'll
every
Thank
word.
you.
Tomorrow we're going to continue. I'm not done. I'm not done.
I didn't think you were.
No way. No way. I have a lot to say.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rav.
Okay. Kol tov.
Rabbi,
Have a good
today we
night,
learned
everybody.
100.
Ah,
Today we learned 100,000 hours.
That's right. Thank you. You're right. He's right.
okay, good.